So this year was my first year attending NAMM. Literally, it's thousands of musicians, producers, great companies, legends just casually walking around. I basically ran in to Stevie Wonder, and there's panels and people speaking, and they had Charlie Puth there and Rick Beato. Rick Beato, I was really excited to see. And during the panel, they dropped so many great nuggets, so many things about social media, about the music business in general, but one thing really stuck out to me. So this year was my first year attending NAMM, and let me tell you what, the experience was awesome. There were so many cool people, there were so many artists, it was bigger than I thought, there was more people than I thought, but it was really awesome to get around other like-minded individuals, shake people's hands, see people in person. It was just fantastic, and get to see all the new products and things going out. So I would invite all you guys in the future, go to NAMM and I'll see you there. So if you're asking yourself what NAMM is, it's the biggest music merchant conference, I think, in the world. But literally, it's thousands of musicians, producers, great companies, legends just casually walking around. I basically ran in to Stevie Wonder, and there's panels and people speaking, and they had Charlie Puth there and Rick Beato. And Rick Beato, I was really excited to see because I love his channel. As somebody in the music world, right, who has a YouTube channel himself, which is significantly smaller. It's so cool to see him speak there and to listen to a lot of things that he says. And, you know, his knowledge about music is extensive, and it's just so cool to be in person there and see him. Rick really was a highlight of the trip to me. Unexpected in the fact that I didn't expect to walk away, think about something for this long, and now have fodder for a video that I'm going to share with you guys. But I believe that Rick Beato's YouTube channel, I think that's something all musicians, all producers, we all aspire to be, and to aspire to be on, right? Because I think that's one of those thresholds that, like, if you're on Rick Beato's channel, I think that's when you can finally say that you've made it. And so at NAMM, I wanted to attend the panel that Rick Beato was on. Rick also had Tim and Matteo on the panel as well, two well-known guitarists in the social media space. And during the panel, they dropped so many great nuggets, so many things about social media, about the music business in general, but one thing really stuck out to me. And something I've talked about before popped up, the 10,000 hour rule. And if you haven't heard of the 10,000 hour rule, I think where it originated from was a book by Malcolm Gladwell called Outliers. And in there, he talks about how to become a master at anything, an expert. You have to do it for 10,000 hours. If you want to be an expert guitar player, you have to play for 10,000 hours. If you want to be an expert plane flyer, you have to fly planes for 10,000 hours. If you want to get good at music, produce music, songwrite, 10,000 hours. But in the conversation, Rick took it a step further. He referenced Mr. Beast. And what Mr. Beast said as a YouTuber is you have to make 100 videos, and 99 of them will suck. And maybe one is good. But I thought what really struck me about that is that applies to everything. It's very similar to the 10,000 hours piece. Make 100 videos, and 99 of them suck. Because in life, what I've learned from my own experience is that there's a lot of failures. There's a significantly more amount of failures than there are successes. And what I've also learned from my own experience, and maybe you have too, is that the failures, the places where we fail at, are the places where we learn the most. And I feel like if I look back on my life, the times when I feel like influenced and made such a big difference in my life are the big failures. And coming out of those failures, that's where I found the biggest jumps and leaps in life and moving forward and the successes. So applying this to the music world in our lives, write 100 songs and maybe you'll get one good one. And then out of those 99 that you had, you can go look at them and figure out why that one was successful versus the other ones that failed. What made that one song successful? What made the one video that was good successful? And those 99, they're not failures. They're part of the process of growing and getting better and learning and moving forward in whatever your trade is, whatever you're trying to do in life. And here's the thing that nobody really wants to hear, is that you don't learn from successes. You learn from failures. Success just tells you, Great, it worked. Failure tells you a lot more. It tells you why it didn't work. It tells you what you need to change. It tells you where your weaknesses actually are. And when you compare your successes to your failure, that's where you can see those things overlap. Success may give you confidence, but failure will give you the data that you need to be able to have successes in the future. So why do we learn so much faster from failure? Well, I think failure helps us reflect and analyze and understand and question what we were doing. Well, why didn't it work? Why didn't the video I just posted yesterday work? And then from there, you adjust, you make changes. When something works immediately, you often don't ask why. You're just happy that it succeeded. And I'd rather fail early and often in something that I'm doing so then I can learn. And then eventually, from those learnings that you have, you'll be successful. If you're an engineer, bad mixes will teach you more than good ones. But failing isn't easy, and most people quit too early. And I think that was the other piece of what Mr. Beast was saying is make 100 videos. Go that far. Don't just make 5 videos and have them fail. Make all the way to 100 videos. And out of those 100 videos, you'll start to learn and grow. And that's what ties back to that 10,000 hours adage. You need to put in the time to get the experience so that you'll know the things that work and don't work. Because in everything, there's a learning curve. So don't quit. Whatever you're doing, keep going. I've seen it so many times with musicians. They'll write 5 songs, they're okay, and a couple of their friends like them, but then they don't go anywhere, and then they just quit being a musician. Or somebody will start a YouTube channel, post 10 videos, they're kind of okay, they really didn't learn much from it, they just kind of phoned it in, and then they quit. They think the algorithm hates them. No, you just haven't hit your failure quota yet. You didn't fail too much, you just stopped too soon. And watching Rick Beato speak at that panel really made it clear to me. Mr. Beast failed his first 100 videos. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody fails. Everyone we admire wrote bad songs, played bad shows, made terrible early work. Ed Sheeran talked about it. He calls it dirty water. When he was writing, he talked about it like a faucet. You have to let the faucet run. There's a bunch of mud and gunk that comes out at first when you turn on a brand new faucet. And then eventually that starts to slow and you see more water come through. And then eventually it's only water flowing. And that's kind of how Ed Sheeran described it is the bad songs, the early songs are the ones that those are the mud that you gotta get out of the way for the good stuff to come through. And the hard work, the 10,000 hours, the 100 videos, those are the things that we don't see. Those are the bottom pieces of that iceberg. So how can you apply this to your life? Instead of asking, is it good? Ask, is this one of my 100? Your job really isn't to be great. It's to show up. It's to keep going, to put one foot in front of the other, to keep learning and learn faster as you go. And if you're a songwriter, maybe you start with a framework. For your first 30 songs, you try to learn the mechanics of songwriting. For your next 50 songs, maybe you try to develop taste. And then your last 30 songs, maybe you start trusting your instincts and really writing from your heart. So if you're early in your journey and things are feeling a little rough, it's not a sign to stop. That's a sign that it's working. It's okay to be uncomfortable. And if this video helped you at all, you liked it, subscribe and add a comment below. How many songs, videos, projects do you think you're into to your 100?